All right. Safeties. The Broncos re-signed Justin Simmons, 4 years, $61 million. The Jaguars signed Rayshawn Jankins, 4 years, $35 million. The Browns signed John Johnson, 3 years, $33.75 million. And the Patriots signed Jalen Mills, 4 years, $24 million. So what are your thoughts on the safety signings?
My first thought is 2 Boston College safeties out of the 4 that have signed so far. So take that for what it's worth. But yeah, if you look at these contracts, there's nothing I really hate here. I like Justin Simmons and John Johnson. I think they're the 2 best players. Johnson's deal is just $11 million a year, which seems really cheap for him. But I think he took a little bit of a discount to go to the Browns. I'm not entirely sure. I can't remember if that was him or Troy Hill. It was one of those Rams defensive backs. So I like how he's going to fit there. I think he makes that defense really, really scary. I like Jalen Mills' fit with the Patriots, too. They needed kind of a do-it-all defensive back because Patrick Chung retired. And I think paying him $6 million a year as just a guy who can play literally any position back in the secondary, maybe he's best at safety, but yeah, he can play corner, he can play in the slot. I think that's really helpful for them. And he's only guaranteed $9 million. So if things don't work out, like you're not going to lose a ton if you have to cut him next year. So I don't have a ton of opinions on the Rayshawn Jankins signing. I think that was fine for the Jaguars. I mean, you're adding him and Shaq Griffin, so hopefully that secondary is going to look a lot better and be a key building block for them as they look to rebuild and retool for the future. So I don't think that there's anything bad here. Much like the cornerback room, I think most of these guys should pan out as solid starters.
Yeah, I like these signings. I don't hate any of them. The Jalen Mills signing was, I thought, really good. We talked about how Bill Belichick struggles to find pass catchers. I mean, he's so good with defensive backs. So I think Mills is a great fit. He's so versatile. He can play anywhere in the secondary, and to have someone like that, I think Belichick's going to love him. Bringing back Simmons, he's one of the best safeties in the NFL. It's a no-brainer. And John Johnson's a good safety. We'll see how he does outside of the Rams scheme. He's going to have worse talent around him in Cleveland, although Cleveland has a good defense. It's not as good as the Rams. So we'll see if Johnson thrives. I think he's going to be fine. So I like that move. And I think the Jaguars overpaid a little bit for Jenkins, but the Jaguars had the most cap space in the NFL. They're going to have a rookie quarterback under contract for 4 years. So this is the time to do it. Like they have so much money to spend, and like they have to be good they have to surround Trevor Lawrence with good players, and they could do that. This 4-year deal kind of like mirrors. It's going to mirror Trevor Lawrence's deal, so it's going to be up when Lawrence's contract is up. So it's good timing. So I think the Jaguars did a smart move here. Smart moves overall in free agency. So. So that's it for the safeties. And let's get to the kickers. Just kidding. We're not going to do kickers. So we had a couple questions. Do you think the Cardinals will make the playoffs next year?
I think they could. They got Rodney Hudson at center, which was a massive upgrade. I don't know if the details, that might have been a trade. I can't remember if the details. Yeah, there was a trade. They got Rodney Hudson. That's going to help them a lot. So I could definitely see them doing it. The NFC is crowded, and they play in one of the toughest divisions in football, especially with the Rams playing well. But hey, maybe if things don't go well in San Francisco again, the quarterback situation's not great there. Maybe things happen. Maybe if Seattle has Russell Wilson force his way out, I don't think that happens, but you never know. If those 2 things happen, I think the Cardinals will stand a shot. They'll stand a shot anyway, but I think it's going to be tougher for them, but I could see it happening if they keep upgrading that defense, especially.
Yeah, you know what? Before the Hudson trade, I would have said no, because the Cardinals are and they're in the toughest division in football. And if the Cardinals were in any division, any other division, if they're still in the NFC East, especially, like, yes, I would say they would make the playoffs. But it's every team in the division is good, every single one. So before the Hudson trade, I said no. Now with the Hudson trade, I would say yes. I think the Cardinals wouldn't make the playoffs unless Kyler Murray gets injured. So I think that's the key. Murray got hurt last year. I think the Cardinals would have made the playoffs if Murray didn't get banged up in that Thursday night game against Seattle. The Cardinals kind of sputtered a little bit after that. And if they didn't, I feel like they would have beaten New England if he was healthy, and he wasn't. And so they lost that game, and it made all the difference. So got a question for Jacob here. What should I expect from Derrick Rivers and Marcus Cannon?
All right, Derrick Rivers, you can expect pretty much nothing. No offense. He's a good guy. I have met him. He's a very nice guy, but he's dealt with injury issues. So he's probably competing for a depth spot as a pass rusher. Maybe he puts it all together now, but I would not expect him to make the team. Marcus Cannon has always been a solid starter at right tackle. He's been up and down. I can't remember if the thing was he was good in even years and bad in odd years, or if it was vice versa. But, he was kind of up and down during his Patriots tenure, but was generally good. Some years he would look like, oh, man, this guy could be a Pro Bowl talent. And some years it'd be like, all right, you're getting by starting him, but you need to replace him. I think that he's an upgrade for the Texans, though. So he can start for a year, maybe two more. Maybe he moves back to a swing tackle role if the Texans land an upgrade at the right tackle spot. But you're not going to go wrong with Cannon on your roster. And, Rivers is a good competitive piece. I know I said don't expect anything, but, if he can develop as a pass rusher, maybe he'll pan out.
Okay. So we had one more. Trying to find it. Okay. How do you think my Bills did in free agency? So they didn't really do all that much. They signed Emmanuel Sanders. They lost John Brown. They signed Matt Hack or Hawk, however you pronounce his name, the punter. They signed Trubisky, as we discussed. They signed Jacob Hollister. They lost Quentin Jefferson on top of John Brown. They re-signed Matt Milano, which I thought was a really good move. I think we discussed it 2 weeks ago. I can't remember. They re-signed Levi Wallace to a one-year deal. We didn't mention him with the corners as another one-year deal. I thought was really good. They re-signed Darrell Williams. I think we discussed that as well. So I think they did okay. I think they did well. No splash moves or anything, but they did well to keep their key players, which I think was good overall.
Yeah, I agree. I think keeping Williams and Milano was huge for them, and Wallace too on a one-year deal. That was really good deal for them. I liked adding Trubisky. I also like Jacob Hollister. They needed kind of a steady pass catching weapon at the tight end spot. Maybe he can challenge Dawson Knox. If not, he's a good backup. So I think they've done as well as they can. I think that, I wasn't a huge fan of the swap John Brown for Emmanuel Sanders move. Like, if you're getting rid of Brown, why would you just not roll with Gabe Davis? Or if you really want four good receivers, just keep Brown. Maybe it was a cap space thing, but I don't hate that, but it was just kind of a little weird to me.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the Sanders signing. I think that's the one thing they did that I'm not a fan of. It's not a huge deal or anything, but he didn't play well for the Saints last year with Drew Brees and Michael Thomas being out. He was asked to be the number one receiver and he failed. Now, obviously, he's not going to be the number one receiver in Buffalo unless there are so many injuries. But I would not be surprised if he doesn't make the team. I just don't think he has much left in him. So I think that's I think that's how it's going to go. Kenny says, breaking news, Flacco, 2020, Flacco signs with the Jets, 1 year, $1.5 million. He went 0-4, was the second worst quarterback, and today he signed a 1 year, $3.5 million deal. What a deal.
Wow. I knew he signed with the Eagles. I didn't know he was making more than he made last year. I saw someone I can't remember who it was. I follow AJ Schulte from Pro Football Network. I think he posted that Joe Flacco's advanced stats last year, some of them were actually better than Jalen Hurts. So, who knows? Maybe he'll end up being better, or at least more accurate if he's coming in. But I have no faith in Joe Flacco. So, the fact that he got $3.5 million is something. But, you got to spend up for those elite quarterbacks, right?
Yeah, where else can you get that sort of production that Kenny mentioned? I didn't know about that. I was out since 4:00 and I came home, showered, and then started talking to you amid doing my DraftKings lineup for NBA. So this is news to me. And to grade this, I'm going to give it an F.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. All right. That's about it for our free agency breakdown. I'm sure there are going to be more signings that we'll get to next week. And maybe hopefully some trades. The Zach Ertz is supposed to be traded at some point. So hopefully we'll get to discuss that. But yeah, otherwise, do you have anything to plug?
You can follow me on Twitter at Jacob Kamenker, and you can follow all my work at the many places I work. NBC Sports Boston, NBC Sports Northwest, Sporting News, and obviously follow this podcast here, like and subscribe, and please feel free to comment on it and interact with us. We appreciate all you guys. But yeah, if you want to talk more football with me, follow me on Twitter at Jacob Kaminker. I'm always there. I will try to respond. I usually forget for a long time and then eventually show my face. But yeah, let's keep enjoying this fun football off season.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for mentioning the like, subscribe, comment. I would have forgotten it, so I really appreciate it. It's kind of rusty here off the week from the week off, but yeah, it's great to be back and talking about football. And it was a fun free agency, and there's still some signings left to be done. So looking forward to the second half of it. So I'm at WaltStreetFootball.com. We graded every free agent signing that's available. There are some signings that happen that we don't have contract numbers on, like Deshaun Jackson, Kareem Jackson today, Janoris Jenkins, Sidney Jones, Denzel Perriman, Kevin Johnson, Malik Jackson, Josh Reynolds. Like, I have a list on my computer that I cannot grade because we don't have contract information yet. But once they come in, I will grade them. So we'll grade everything. Plus 2021 NFL mock draft updated today. Charlie's was updated yesterday. So it's updated for free agency. So check that out. Otherwise, I will talk to you next week.
All right. Sounds good. Talk to you then.
All right.